So it's summertime. And so my question for you tonight, what fictional character would you invite to your summer cookout? And what side would they bring? Since she hasn't been here in a hot minute, let's start with Lydia this week.
I don't want to go first. Tabitha already figured out what I was going to say.
Well, share with the class.
Well, I would invite the Winchesters over because I know Dean would bring pie. Although I don't know if he would share it with anybody, but he would bring it.
Tabitha.
I'm going to go with Kronk.
Spinach puffs!
Exactly.
Yes!
Kronk and his spinach puffs.
I am going to invite Iceman for, well, it's the same reason, but for two different reasons. One, you need ice to keep your drinks cold. Mm-hmm. And two, not only will he provide that, he's also going to provide like a badass like ice sculpture as a centerpiece or whatever.
Okay.
There is always that one friend that you invite, and they're like, well, what do you want me to bring? Just bring ice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't have it. It's a must.
Huh.
Matt.
I was struggling for an answer, but I'm going to go with Captain America, Steve Rogers, and obviously he's going to bring apple pie.
That Dean Winchester is going to steal.
Well, that's why we have to have more pie.
Can never have enough pie.
Facts.
You're listening to The Geek Awakens with Mitch,
Matt.
Tabitha.
And Lydia.
So, like I mentioned before, Lydia, you haven't been around for a while. Do you just not like us or something?
Well, I mean, no. So I have not been around for a while, but that is because I have spent the past 3-ish months in rehearsals for Something Rotten that we just actually closed last weekend at the Muni. Probably one of my favorite productions I've been in local theater to date. Like, cast, crew, everything was great. And if you don't know what it is, Something Rotten, it's quite literally like a love letter to musical theater and Shakespeare, all wrapped up in a Renaissance-themed comedy. It was fantastic.
Wonderful.
But we had a lot of fun. Definitely made some friends that I hope to keep in contact with. But it took up a lot of time, and I was not able to come be here with you guys. So that was one sad thing, I guess.
And plus, it is always nice whenever you're able to maintain a friendship with somebody that you did a play with.
Yeah, I guess.
I guess we wouldn't really know anything about
No, not at all.
Lydia, I'm going to start with you. Granted, by the time you guys hear this will already be like well-known news, but this broke today as of our recording. We are finally getting Spaceballs, the sequel.
Apparently so. It is official. So far says that Bill Pullman and Rick Moranis are set to reprise their roles, as well as being joined by Keke Palmer and Rick Pullman's son, Louis Pullman. So they have not announced who he is going to be playing yet, but he is going to be a part of the cast as well. The original director and star is Mel Brooks is also going to be a feature in the cast again. It's supposed to be released in theaters sometime in 2027. It has been described as a non-prequel, non-reboot sequel part 2, but with reboot element franchise expansion film. Now, I'll be honest, and I'm probably going to get kicked out of this room and possibly my own house for saying this. I've never seen Spaceballs.
I haven't seen it all the way through.
Okay. But the bits that I know of it, that is like the perfect description of this. I literally got sent the clip of this earlier today by my husband with just all caps, multiple exclamation points, the word yes. So I'm assuming that in the near future I'm going to see Spaceballs because I'm going to have to see the sequel when it comes out. So
two main takeaways on that for me. First off, Rick Moranis coming out of retirement for this movie.
Yes.
He hasn't done anything since like the early 90s, right?
No, on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which it's noble because of what his wife died, so he retired to take care of his kids.
Yep.
So for him to come out of retirement for this, awesome. Also, Mel Brooks is like 98, 99 probably. Like
He's old.
yeah.
But watch the clip. He looks pretty good, honestly. Like for being as old as he is.
He is 98.
98. Wow. So like, if this doesn't come out until 27, like he might hit 100.
Yeah.
You know, if he's still with us.
Hey, don't Betty White it up, man.
Oh,
Well, Mitch just killed Mel Brooks.
damn it, Mitch.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, in case you didn't hear that, not Seth did yell out for me to not Betty White it. Long story short, I spoke Betty White's death into existence, so I'm at least 5% the reason why she's no longer with us.
Why are we still friends with him?
It's a great question.
Yeah.
I kicked him out of my office today because he told me he'd never seen Indiana Jones movies or James Bond movies, and I literally said, "Get the fuck out of my office." The people walking by were probably like, "Ooh, Tabitha's really mad at Mitch about something." It's just James Bond.
To be fair, I'd probably get kicked out of your office too, because I think the only Indiana Jones movie I've seen in full is Crystal Skull.
That's still an Indiana Jones movie,
But
albeit
also
the worst
one
one.
that I know is not like a fan favorite by people that like Indiana Jones. So
No, it's not great, but it's an Indiana Jones movie.
It's kind of like pizza, even though, even when it's bad pizza, it's still pizza.
Yeah.
So any other thoughts about, are they calling it Spaceballs the sequel?
let's find out. I don't think I ever saw that.
It might
in
not
the-
even have like an official title yet, but I feel like that would be the...
Yeah, I don't know if it does. I don't know. I'm really torn because I grew up watching Spaceballs. Like, I freaking love this movie. Like Monty Python and the Holy Grail, Spaceballs is right up there with that. Like, I can quote pretty much the entire movie as we watch it. There'd been jokes for a long time about a sequel happening. I know Mel Brooks in a lot of ways had stepped away from doing movies. Obviously, Rick Moranis had. I'm excited, but I'm also nervous. I'm excited because at least Mel Brooks is a part of this. Because honestly, if they'd done it without him, it would have been a hard no for me, like, at all. Like, don't even bother. I'm still wary just because, like, I don't know. It's up there with like one of like the ultimate cult classics.
Yeah. And something you said kind of reminded me, though, or like made me think. Grant, I don't know. I'm assuming if they don't have a script done, it's at least like well in progress. If I am somebody like Rick Moranis, I'm not going to come out of retirement, even if it's something that I loved and adored. I'm not going to come out of retirement if the script is trash.
True.
So I think that really says something. Not to discount Mel Brooks, but I don't necessarily think the same way about him. Because he still has kind of been in the public eye a little bit. Rick Moranis, like, he's been gone. So.
Yeah, and Mel Brooks has done other Mel Brooks movies after Spaceballs, obviously. So
The only thing I'm finding does not sound like an actual title because I keep seeing Spaceballs 2: The Search for More Money.
well, because that's what they say at the end of the first one.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if that's legit or not. Although the end of that video did say the Schwartz awakens in 2027.
Now I'm almost going to be disappointed if it's not called Spaceballs 2: The Search for More Money.
All right, well, on that note, let's open up the pull list. What's on our pull list this week? And we've got 3 books to talk about this week. The first one is Done with Demons. It is out May 28th from Silver Sprocket by Dora Grents. Done with Demons, it's a collection of comic strips that follows Boris, who is the mayor of Hell. He gets kicked out of Hell and ends up moving in with Granny and Boy. Or, I'm sorry, Granny and Son, which is Granny's dog. and this kind of follows Boris's new life. I unfortunately did not get a chance to read this. Matt, I know you said you did. What'd you think?
I had a good time with this. They're well put together to the point where I honestly didn't really realize that they were a number of individual, like, shorter comics. It kind of felt like more of a semi-cohesive story, like a lot of vignettes about like what they go through and what happens now that he's been exiled from hell, and him trying to get back and shenanigans that ensue. I don't know. It was fun. It was quick.
That's what she said.
This is
Sorry.
I think probably my one thing is, and I know art styles are completely subjective, and I have no art skill whatsoever. My stick figures are lopsided, but like the drawings seemed, there were a particular style that didn't seem to require a lot of skill, and I know that's not right because I said I can't do it, but I don't know. I didn't really. I wasn't really in, like, I didn't love the art style. So, but the stories were fun. So,
Tabitha, what'd you think?
I really liked this as well. It was funny. It was kind of heartwarming in a very kind of twisted way. I have a new goal to be mayor of hell one day. And hopefully not get exiled because I could not live with that grandma, but her dog is cute. I also had some struggles with the art because I think it was because it was pencil drawing and it sometimes looked blurry, and like the expressions on people's faces did not come through very well. So sometimes I was like squinting and trying to figure out exactly what was happening because of the art, but otherwise I really enjoyed this. It was super cute.
Next book we're going to talk about is Blood Type number 1. It is out now from Oni Press, written by Corinna Bechko with art by Andrea Sorrentino. So Blood Type number 1, it follows Ada, who is a vampire who has kind of ended up on this Caribbean resort full of tourists, which means full of fresh blood. Pun kind of intended. But does she end up being the ultimate predator, or is there somebody that might end up fighting her for that title? Lydia, what'd you think?
I'll be honest, I did not like this one very much. And I think a lot of it had to do with the writing style, because it almost felt disconnected. It felt like somebody had taken something and like Google translated it over into English. Because like from one speech bubble to the next, like none of the dialogue flowed. And I got so lost trying to figure out what was happening there that it completely took me out of everything else. The artwork is really nice. I like the way that they designed the characters, and like the beginning part where they're on like the boat is really fun. But I was so lost trying to figure out what the storyline was supposed to be, because everything just felt so discombobulated. I don't know. I just did not like this one. I don't think I'm going to continue this one.
Yeah. I do kind of see what you're saying about the story not being connected super well, even though they did kind of a good job of trying to differentiate who the narrator was. Like the dialogue boxes were different colors depending on who was talking, but still there were a couple of times where, you know, like in my head I'm still reading this as one narrator, and then I'm like a couple sentences in, I'm like, oh wait, hold on a second, this is somebody else, you know. So like the jumps were kind of, you know, rigid for me. I agree with you. The art is phenomenal. You know, I will say every time we read a horror comics are not usually my bag. And so I'm saying that with, you know, with that in mind, is this something that I would probably read on my own? Probably not. However, this did do a really good job for me of, like, the character work, you know, was good. It was interesting. I'm interested in more of Ada's backstory. I'm also interested in, like, the I don't remember the guy's name, but the guy that, you know, she bites his neck and he kind of becomes her servant or or whatever. That was kind of interesting because there was one part where he is like kind of trying to trick some of the other like tourists or whatever, and it's just like, I never really thought of a vampire like really like being that way, so yeah, so like I said, I'm kind of torn. Like I said, it's not something that I would probably read on my own. However, if we do get a second issue of this, I will happily read that. Tabitha, what about you?
I weirdly really liked this, even though it kind of dropped me in the middle of a story, which is usually something I complain about. I am with you. I want a little bit more backstory on Ada. I also kind of feel like we're going to get that based on the way that it is written.
Oh, for sure.
I also agree with Lydia, though. The dialogue was kind of spotty, and especially when they were in that group, I could not figure out who the hell was talking, and because it all read the same. Like when you're reading dialogue, all those voices should sound or read different, and they all read exactly the same. I really liked the art. I did enjoy the part in the beginning where she was on the boat way more than when she got to the island, and this also felt real short. Even for like a first issue, like I felt like not only was it short in pages, but it was short in story. Like it almost felt like this could have been like an epilogue, not an epilogue, a prologue to like an actual comic book. So I want to know more, so I think I would keep reading it if we get more, but I really enjoyed it, but there did have a plethora of issues.
Matt, what about you?
So I also very much enjoyed this. I had a really good time with it. My two concerns are, and I think part of this is what makes it disjointed for some of you guys with the dialogue, is that there's an omniscient narrator that's chiming in at different points. So some of those like square boxes are the narrator like throwing in his like 2 cents, and it like
that was like the crypt keeper kind of telling a story vibe.
But I could have done without that.
Yeah.
Like I would have liked it better if it was just Ada's story. That said, I also like, as much as I enjoyed the first few pages on the boat, that's a part of the reason I think it felt short, is because you've got like 4 or 5 pages of the boat, and then you've got like 20 pages of her on the island. So it didn't like, it was a fairly sharp jump from the boat to the island. Like the story flows, but it's kind of choppy there. I almost would have, I think, more enjoyed using the boat as backstory in later issues and just dropping me off at the island to start with, and then expanding on that. But I like the art. I like the story. I know I'm probably the only one that remembers this, but there was the one that we had read called The Vein, which was that group of vampires traveling through like the decades, that kind of gave me that vibe, but in present, like already at present day. But I'm definitely here for more issues of this.
Last book we're going to talk about is Dark Regards #2. Also out now from Oni Press. Written by Dave Hill with art by Artyom Topilin. So issue 2 shows more of Dave's transition into Lance, the king of black metal, as he finally forms the band Witch Taint. In doing so, he's also not quite prepared for his enemies, I guess you could say, from Norway, who make themselves known in not a fantastic way for Dave. Matt, I feel like this miniseries is tailor-made for you, so we'll start with you this time.
I did enjoy this. I enjoyed it, issue 1. I enjoyed issue 2. My favorite part of this issue is him trying to put the band together and practicing and being like, we got one song. We're going to go on a world tour. And they're like, here's the demo. It sounds like crap. And he's like, no, it's great. Like, I really enjoyed that part. It was a little rougher on the edges, like as a whole for the issue. But like in general, I'm still enjoying this. I still like the art. And I want to see, like, I want to see where this is going even further. And as I'm paging through it, I do have to note that I think my favorite part of the entire issue was when he talks about how he was trying to be so black metal that he put stalactites in his room.
Yeah, I liked this issue more than issue 1. If you remember with issue 1, I kind of felt like they were going over the top a little bit in some spots, and they still do. I will say that. But with issue 2, it was kind of like I'm prepared for it, and now that I'm prepared for it, I'm kind of here for it. You know, there are some great puns in this book, and yeah, I'm interested, you know, to see where this is going. And there was also, I don't think it's going to end up being long-lived, but you do see Dave at kind of like a crossroads in, you know, his former life as a comedian and his current life as the king of black metal. And I liked that. I enjoyed that. It kind of gave like a little bit of conflict, even though, yes, there's way more conflict coming, as we saw at the end of issue 2. But it did kind of give like an internal conflict that, I don't know, I feel like for something as light as this to have that kind of conflict inside, it's like, okay, cool, it kind of brings you down a little bit, you know, in a good way, not like brings you down, oh darn. Lydia, what'd you think?
So I actually read both issues of this because I didn't read it. The first one we got it the last time. It may have even been when I wasn't here. I don't know. But I read both of them back to back. I'm not sure how I feel about this series. Because, like, the music aspect of it drew me in immediately. And then it just, as soon as we started running with it, it's like, oh my God, this is so cringe. Like, you are literally just trying to force yourself into, oh, I'm black metal god, I'm so rough and tumble, rah! It's like, dude, no, you're not. Also, can we pick a lane? Are we hailing Satan? Are we being Vikings? Are we what are we doing?
It's Norwegian black metal. They do both simultaneously.
I have questions. Reading the second one, I started enjoying it a little more than I did the first one. I'm still not sure how I feel about it as a whole. But yeah, the whole, like, oh, the band's starting up. And, oh, well, now you have a new job that you get to do with your comedy stuff. Like, that part felt so realistic. Mm-hmm. It's like, ouch. Also, just like the little background things in this one were really fun. Like when they get their drummer dude and his whole like backstory about how he used to be in a band and all that. And oh yeah, no hard feelings. Meanwhile, behind him is a gigantic sign that says F Skid Row. So I want to see the next issue because I think like it'll kind of all draw together and like bring me in a little bit more. But yeah, the first issue especially, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here.
You reminded me of a scene that I really liked. Was like, I guess you can call it a montage of where they're auditioning, you know, different band members, and like they hate them all, and then you've got like mild spoiler here if you haven't read this issue yet, but then you have like this like nice little keyboardist who looks like she just came from church, and like she's the one who gets into the band. I loved that. And
then kicks over the coffee sign on the way out.
Yes.
They're just like, what the hell?
What'd you do that for?
Because I'm metal now.
So with that, let's not open up the pull list. Let's go to gut reaction. The pull list was already open. We closed the pull list. Ow!
Gut reaction.
So I want to apologize for my stories tonight.
Oh no.
No, nothing bad. It's just like they are. The vast majority of them either deal with the DCU or James Gunn. Like they're very. They have a theme, I guess you could say. So starting off, we are less than a month away from Superman coming out, but we do have a new idea of.
And in Pride Month, too.
Yeah, good for Superman. We have a new idea of what the DCU will look like. Speaking to Entertainment Weekly, James Gunn said that in this universe, metahumans will already be an established presence, with them being known to the public for 300 years. The team of Green Lantern Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl, and Mr. Terrific are already established at the beginning of the movie. I'm giving this a thumbs up. We all say that we don't need another origin story, and while it's possible that this will still end up being kind of an origin story, it's still kind of good to know that like we are not starting off this universe. This universe already exists. So like I already like kind of where this whole new extended universe is going. Tabitha.
I also don't think we need this movie at all. No.
That's not what I said.
I know. I don't think we need another origin story, and I don't think we need this movie anyway. I know you're excited. I'm giving this a solid thumb sideways until I actually see it, because the still shots I've seen are scary. In a bad way.
Matt.
I am also going to go thumb sideways. Mostly just for the fact that DC has tried and failed and tried and failed and tried and failed and tried and failed and tried and failed so many times with their movie universes. And I know that we have faith in James Gunn because of what he's done for Marvel, but just because of the poor luck that DC has had building any kind of like universe, I'm still nervous about how it's all going to happen. I think this is probably a decent starting place. I do like the fact that metahumans are already established, so we don't have to play that game that we always seem to do. I'm hopefully optimistic that this is a good jumping off point. But I think I'm with Tabitha. Until I see it, I'm gonna be a little nervous about it.
Lydia.
I am now angry.
All right, Hulk.
Full stop.
Because I really don't care to see Mr. Cornsweat in his Superman pajamas. But then you went and mentioned Hawkgirl, who is probably one of my favorite superheroes that does not get enough love anywhere in any of the media. And now I'm going to have to watch it, and now I'm mad.
Now, Hawkgirl, not to be confused with Hawktua Girl.
Get the fuck out of my office.
In my house?
Yes.
Lydia, where's your thumb?
Where's my
For
bell?
you, thumbs down. For the movie, thumb sideways.
Yeah, ring, 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 ring. I can't reach it. Also, I'm going to give you one for Lydia, too. From Lydia. Because I feel like if she had had the bell, she would have given you one just now.
I would.
So Mitch gets a Lydia shame. And a Tabitha shame.
Rude. Tabitha, let's go to the Lin-Manuel Miranda news desk.
Coming to you live from In the Heights, the Lin-Manuel Miranda news desk. Oh, let's, shall we? So I have not watched it because I have been emo for like a week and a half and I don't want to cry. So I've been avoiding watching the replay of the Hamilton reunion that happened at the Tony Awards on Sunday in celebration of the show's 10th anniversary. It is wild to me that came out 10 years ago because it does not feel like that long. And also, why does my brain retain every single word of the lyrics after 10 years is wild. Anyway, I'm just going to read Lynn's Instagram post because no one's ever going to say anything better than he does. He explained that he had first had the idea for the reunion a few months ago, and then he said, we start with Hamilton and Burr at the top of Nonstop into a medley, morph into History Has Its Eyes on You, and then the end of Nonstop. So Nonstop is the bread, and we have to figure out what goes in the sandwich. So clever. And I, again, have not watched this, but the small, tiny clips that I have seen are giving me so much joy. The cast had less than a week to learn the performance. They rehearsed 3 days, and then they put it on the Tony Awards. So 10 years later, they still remember their lines. They still remember all their choreography. Just absolutely incredible. Again, can't wait to watch this. Giant thumbs up. Gonna have to do it when I'm less emo.
And when will that be?
5 to 7 business years.
Matt.
I am glad that they did this. I think it's awesome. The fact that they were able to pull this together in such a short amount of time is just a credit to the skill and the talent that this entire cast has and still had and still has. I've seen clips of it. I haven't watched the whole thing. I will probably watch it over Tabitha's shoulder when she does. But the few clips that I've already seen, it's already just impressive. Like, we watched Hamilton with the kids a couple of months ago, and it just kind of brought back that love of the whole thing. And to have this kind of like leap off again, I'm like, I guess I'll just have to watch the movie again.
Lydia.
I didn't know that this happened, and now I'm going to have to go find this clip so I can watch this. Also, fun fact, Something Rotten that I was just in and Hamilton came out in the same year. And some people say that's why Something Rotten didn't get the attention that it deserves. Anyway.
I did not know that. I thought that was out way before that for some reason.
Nope, they both came out in 2015.
So what you're saying is, timeline-wise, we could get a local community theater version of Hamilton, right?
I'm in.
That would be lovely. There have been some clips of high schoolers doing Hamilton that are almost better than Hamilton doing Hamilton, which is wild to me. I don't know. I've been pretty impressed with our local community theater. I've seen some not great ones. Mitch was in those.
Wow.
You're
Oh,
welcome.
anyway, thumbs up.
Also giving this a thumbs up. I have seen this. I watched it like the day after the Tonys. But, so it was really good. But even still, the fact that they did this with basically three rehearsals, amazing. And I get it. They're professionals. That's why they were able to do it like that. But still, like, that's just so cool. And yeah, what is time anymore? Because that's been out for 10 years. I don't believe you. So, a new Wonder Woman movie for the new DCU is in the works, though progress is slow. The film will not be a continuation of the Gal Gadot films and will not be connected to the Paradise Lost series that's been announced for HBO Max, which will center around Wonder Woman's home of the Mascaria?
The Mascara.
The Mascara. I always pronounce it wrong. Anyway, I'm going to give this a thumb sideways. I am excited for a new Wonder Woman movie. However, we don't really know anything about it. We don't know when it's going to come out. You know, there's a lot going on there. And B, I know this is going to sound it's not going to sound bad, but like whoever they choose for Wonder Woman, like they have a huge shoes to fill with Gal Gadot. Like, she was amazing in that role. So, you know, they're going to have to try really hard to top that. But still, I'm here for it. Tabitha.
As terrible as that second Wonder Woman movie was, I'm glad they're not going on that same trajectory and it's going to be a new story. But again, stop giving me characters we've seen 1,000 times in movies. I am so tired of the rehash of Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman. Like, it's getting so old and it is getting so played out. Like, there for a while it was zombies and then it was the Marvel superheroes, and now it's like DC is like, oh god, what do we do? Oh, we'll bring back the original 3 and they'll all suck. Like, I'm so over the superhero thing, and maybe that makes me a bad nerd, but they're going to have to do something really amazing with this Wonder Woman movie to make me give a shit. Thumbs sideways.
Matt.
Yeah, kind of piggybacking off of my trepidation with Superman, I think I'm going to go thumb sideways. because, like you said, Mitch, we don't have any information. We don't have cast. We don't have any story details. We don't have a timeline. We don't have any of that. And despite the fact that we're all still fighting MCU burnout, one of the best things that happened to the MCU was the fact that they were broke and sold off properties, so they had to pull superheroes that nobody heard of and make them stars of their films. Doctor Strange and Ant-Man, two perfect examples. Why would they headline summer blockbuster movies? But Paul Rudd and Benedict Cumberbatch blew it out of the water. So maybe in that respect, James Gunn and DC should take a little bit of page out of that. I know they brought in Hawk Girl, Mr. Terrific. Maybe one of those should get a lead to kind of get things interesting. But I don't know. I'm still thumb sideways kind of until we see how James Gunn's DC movie universe kind of like all unfolds.
Lydia.
Yeah, I agree with everything you guys have already said. Like, if we're going to continue down the path of making more superhero movies, give me somebody that has not been seen a million times. Give me Hot Girl. Like, I would love that. I would love to see a full-fledged movie. It may not be great because, you know, things happen, but at least it would be venturing out of the box that both of these brands isn't the right word, but you know what I mean, has basically put themselves in. And not only the fact that Wonder Woman 2 may not have been great, it was only 5 years ago. Like, why are we already rehashing a character that we just saw? Pick something else. Thumbs down.
Matt, I don't think I've ever said these words on this show. Let's talk about Care Bears.
That's not what I was expecting.
Give me either. I was like bracing myself. I was like, oh God, now what?
No, I don't think you've ever said that, and I'm almost hoping that we never have to talk about it again. But Josh Greenbaum is going to be directing a new Care Bears movie that is in development at Warner Brothers. We have no writer, we have no plot details. It's at this point, it's rumored to be like a live action type Care Bears, which the article that I found, and I can't get this comparison out of my head, is like Ted, but Care Bears. And I'm having a hard time seeing the Care Bears being crass, foul, and cursing. But I also, it's the problem that all of these quote unquote live action movies have with animated characters. Garfield, Sonic, Ted. Like,
No. Hold on. Watch yourself about Sonic.
I'm sorry. It's not live action just because you put a couple of real people in with CGI characters. Like, that's not live action. And granted, I don't want Care Bears that look like the 1980s Ninja Turtles. Because as much as that was my childhood, it's terrifying. I don't think anybody really wants that. So, either way, I think I'm going to go thumbs down. Leave the Care Bears where they are.
Lydia.
I'm not gonna lie, the second you started talking about it, I figured it was gonna be live action something, and like Garfield and Smurfs and Detective Pikachu, and that was the first place my brain went, and I'm not I don't need that in my life. But also then you said Ninja Turtles, and then I was like, well, maybe if we had like actual Jim Henson still around, maybe he could make some like cute little Care Bear puppets. But his business is not what it used to be now that he is not there to do it. So that won't work either. So I'm just going to go with thumbs down because I don't need the Care Bears in my life. Although it would be better than like Teletubbies, I guess.
Which I guess really are
don't
live
speak
action.
that into existence.
I went on such a roller coaster with this. So, little baby Mitch loved the Care Bears. So, when I saw this before you had posted it. I didn't really read much about it, but like I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw, some entertainment news, whatever, post about it. I'm like, no, thank you. It's like, please, let me remember the Care Bears how I remember them, But then when you were kind of talking, so like immediately I'm like, thumbs down, please no. But when you're kind of talking, I'm thinking like, I said the same thing with Chippendale Rescue Rangers, and that was way better than it had any right to be. So if it's a situation where it kind of goes that route, I'm still not giving it a thumbs up, but like maybe a thumb sideways.
Okay.
Then you're saying that it's going to be kind of like Ted, and I don't know if they mean like Ted in terms of just how he was a bear and in that aspect of it, or if the Care Bears are going to be crass and say curse words and I don't know, maybe fuck each other.
That okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a porno out there somewhere.
Probably is.
Poor Sunshine Bear.
No.
Hard on bear.
Where's my bell?
Right there.
But anyway, I said heart on bear.
You did not.
Any which way, like, so having like Ted style Care Bears, it brings me back to a thumbs down. I don't know. It's still not something that I would ever see, but like, if I saw a trailer for it, then I might be like, okay, little baby Mitch would be pleased with this. So, but yeah, thumbs down. Tabitha.
Yeah, I'm also going to go thumbs down because I just know this is going to give me nightmares. And now Lydia has also put into my head Care Bear puppets. And when I have a nightmare at 3 a.m., I'm going to go to Lydia's house and bang on the door.
Valid.
So, given the other two, like, Superman / DC stories that I've told, I kind of already know where this one's going. But various theater companies have already announced their promos for Superman. AMC will have a popcorn container in the shape of a Daily Planet newspaper box, as well as a gripper cup, which I didn't do my research. I have no idea what a gripper cup is. But it's going to have a mystery topper, which would be either... Happy Pride, everybody.
You can get that at the theater? I thought you had to get that online in a plain brown box.
A gripper with a mystery topper.
Oh my god.
So anyway, you will get either Superman, Crypto, or an S Shield keychain, and also a special edition comic. Exclusives from other companies include a Crypto popcorn container, a Crypto plush, various Superman and or Crypto themed buckets and glassware, and Crypto's popcorn bucket, which has a puppy version of the Superdog attached to it. I'm giving this a trepidatious thumbs up. I realize what they're doing with having, with being so crypto heavy on a lot of these things, because kids are going to want everything. And it's nice that at least with AMC, which is our only theater in town, they didn't completely lean in on crypto. But yeah, so like in that aspect, I'm like, okay, that's gonna suck for the parents. That said, and while I realize they are going to be very expensive, am I gonna maybe save up between now and opening night and buy myself a Daily Planet popcorn box and a gripper cup with a mystery top? You bet you about $1 I will. So I'm still giving this a thumbs up. Pun unintended.
There's no way that was unintentional.
I promise it was. I promise. Tabitha.
I'm giving this whole conversation a thumbs down. Pizza box is cute though, so thumb sideways.
Pizza box?
The pizza, the popcorn, Daily
Planet,
Planet.
not Pizza Planet.
Oh my god, thank you. No box, bucket. No. Newspaper box
With popcorn in
with
it.
popcorn in it. No pizza.
Although it could have pizza.
You could put anything in a box.
Matt.
As much as I am so beyond over the gimmicky popcorn buckets, I do think there's been a few of them that are clever and cool. Like the Minecraft one was a minecart. Like this one being the Daily Planet, I think that's cool. I like that. And you're right. Leaning into the crypto is definitely pulling, the younger audience to get them excited for this. So in that regard, I'll give them a thumbs up for like what they've done with the ideas and not going completely ham on some of these ideas.
Lydia.
I think this is going to be the only one of your Superman stories I'm going to give a thumbs up because the picture that is on the article you posted for this is really cute because a couple of little toppers are like Superman and Lex Luthor sitting in theater chairs with a bucket of popcorn, and they are really cute.
Aww.
So, well done. Thumbs up.
I don't remember which theater chain has it, but like the crypto one where he's like it's crypto, but he's holding like a bag of popcorn, and that's where the popcorn is. Like that's adorable. So I'm kind of glad that we don't have that one because then I would buy 2 popcorn containers, and I don't need that. Tabitha, let's talk about Sydney Sweeney.
So this is kind of an old story at this point, but I felt like we could not address this on the show at some point. The soap company, Dr. Squatch, who has been making like cool soap and partnering with like a bunch of pop culture things, has recently partnered with Sydney Sweeney. The soap is known as Sydney's Bathwater Bliss, which contains exactly what you think it does. It is a little drop of Sydney's bathwater, sold out within literal seconds. Days after it went up for sale, it is already on eBay for over $2,000. Significant markup, obviously, because that was on sale originally for $8. Jesus. It came with a ultra premium luxury photo pack of Sydney Sweeney, 8x5 with a glossy finish. Could not tell you why they needed to come with a photo, but whatever. It also came with extra photos from the Euphoria TV show, but all the autographs on them were reprints. There's also listed items on eBay for like anywhere from $120 up to that $2,000 mark. It caused their website to crash twice when people were trying to buy this. Anyway, this honestly just proves men are gross. Like, at the end of the day, men are gross. The end. But good on Dr. Squatch. What a great way to make money. Great marketing. 10 out of 10. Men are gross.
Where's your thumb?
Oh, my thumb is up for Dr. Squatch. Because, again, what good marketing. But thumbs down for men. Just in general, all the time. Always.
Now, there are some women who prefer women who I'm sure bought that.
I can almost promise you the amount of even hardcore like lesbians that are into Sydney Sweeney were like, that's a little weird. Like, And if they did buy it, shame on you.
Matt.
Words. Oh my god. I saw this when it was like being released, and I can't form coherent thoughts about this because yes, Dr. Squatch or whatever, props to your idea to sell more soap. There's no way in hell the guys that bought this are actually going to use it to bathe with. They're the ones that live in basements with Cheeto fingers.
Yep.
So thumbs down to them.
Lydia.
I'm upset that this is Dr. Squatch because Dr. Squatch actually has really nice smelling soap. That is currently in my bathroom. This is weird. Like Tabitha said, props to them for like the marketing idea because I guarantee their sales just went like through the roof. Thumbs down for the people that are selling this soap for like way more than they bought it for. Thumbs down for the people that bought it in the first place because of what it is. Like, just no. Also, I was very confused because I didn't know who Sydney Sweeney was, and I was confusing it with Sunny Sweeney, who was a country singer. So I was very lost.
I'm also giving this a thumbs down. Anyone who bought this, y'all are gross. That said, they missed an opportunity by not having this be a tie-in with Saltburn.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So Funko has announced, I like how we go from Sydney Sweetie's bathwater to Funko Pops.
That tracks for us, honestly.
Yeah. Funko has announced new Funko Pops featuring Tommy Oliver's other Ranger personas besides green and white. The Pops will be of the Red Zero Ranger, the Red Turbo Ranger, and the Black Dino Thunder Ranger. I'm giving this a thumbs sideways. I'm doing that because while these Pops do look cool. That said, I never watched Dino Thunder. Turbo was around the time when I was phasing out of Power Rangers before I phased back in, clearly. But that said, Zeo holds a very special place in my heart. I will probably get to that. But the reason why this is getting a thumb sideways and not a thumbs up is because I now want the other Zeo Ranger Pops, and chances of that happening are pretty slim, I'm sure. Tabitha.
I knew like 4 of the words you said, but you seem excited, so thumbs sideways.
Matt.
I don't know. I think it's one of those things that was probably about due for them to go back and do some of these. Like every once in a while, like they'll have a line that they'll do, and then they'll go back and be like, "Oh, we're gonna do additional characters, or we're gonna do additional costumes from said characters." So it's probably about time that they went back and did this, especially like in memoriam, essentially for Jason David Frank. So I don't know. I think it's cool, and especially as of like the last couple of years, like the Funko Pop molds have gotten a lot more detailed. So they're probably going to look pretty slick. So thumbs up.
Lydia.
I'm also going to go thumb sideways because I love the overall idea. I love that they're bringing out the different versions. I did watch Dino Thunder because of my nephew. And when I realized that he was in it, I kind of geeked out a little bit. So there's that. I like that it's kind of, like you said, like in memoriam, but it almost kind of feels like a cash grab because they know people are going to buy it because he just passed away. So I don't know, timing wise, it seems a little off, but overall, I'm excited for them.
Not to be that guy, but like it has been almost 2 years, almost 3 years. Like I said earlier, time has no meaning anymore.
No.
Good Lord.
It's not like this happened 6 months ago.
It feels like it.
So while yes, this could still very well be a cash grab, I do feel like they have at least waited, maybe not the like perfect amount of time, but I feel like they've waited an appropriate amount of time.
That's fair. Like you said, time has no meaning because it does not feel like it's been that long.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, it's not quite so bad, but...
Going back to my game, Jake.
Going back to your what?
Going back to my James Gunn obsession.
I think you had it right the first time.
So, going back to his Marvel days, he's now revealed that he never wanted to write one specific Marvel character, and that was Thor. He said that he fought the idea of adding Thor to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 after Thor seemingly joined the team at the end of Endgame. Not because he has beef with Chris Hemsworth or anything, but because he doesn't know how to write the character. To fix the issue, the Guardians showed up in Thor of Love and Thunder before the God of Thunder went back to his own adventure. Giving this a thumbs up. Good for James Gunn to know not only his strengths, but also his weaknesses. Also, I need to stop talking because I keep tripping over all my words because I heard myself say awful, and that's not a word. So, Tabitha.
I think it takes a certain kind of person to admit when they can't do something, especially someone in a Hollywood kind of setting. So good for him admitting where his weakness is. That's actually kind of impressive. Thumbs up.
Matt.
Yeah, it's a very creative minded thing where there's a task that you want to tackle, but you know that your skill set or your skill level does not equate to doing justice to whatever that idea is. So huge credit to him for knowing, again, his strengths and weaknesses. It kind of takes me back to when we interviewed TJ Klune at C2E2, and I asked him about
Humble brag.
If there's a story that he wasn't able to do, and it's one that he just finished because he finally feels like he can do it justice. And again, that's a very creative minded thing, and you have to give credit to the creator when they realize that. So thumbs up.
Lydia.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate the fact that's not even a dislike of the actor or the character itself. It's just I personally cannot give this character the credit that it is due, so I don't want to screw it up. Good on him for understanding that. And I feel like part of your stumbling is the fact that I'm not stumbling tonight. I have transferred it to you.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Matt, let's talk about Pokemon.
So if you really want to catch them all, the Pokemon Company has confirmed that the Pokemon Fossil Museum is coming to North America in May of 26. It will be a special exhibit at the Chicago Field Museum, and they are going to have fabricated Pokemon fossils.
So they won't be real.
Fabricated Pokemon fossils. I repeat. But they are going to be paired with ancient life forms found in real world fossils. So they're going to be kind of side by side. They're going to be next to each other so that you will be able to see Sue the T-Rex with I'm not even going to try and pronounce these Pokemon names, but Pokemon that are similar in size and stature, and then you'll be able to compare and contrast the two fossils. So it's kind of going to be a cool learning experience. I think it's going to be awesome for kids and adults and anybody that's into Pokemon to kind of see their favorite Pokemon characters in comparison to, real world fossils. They weren't sure that this exhibit was ever going to leave Japan. So the fact that it is coming to the States and coming to Chicago, the iconic Field Museum, I think is pretty cool. So thumbs up.
Lydia.
I actually was talking about this with Kevin, and we're probably going to end up taking the kids to it because they love Pokemon. I love the idea that they're pairing, like you said, a Pokemon with an actual real creature that existed at some point in time, to have that comparison and that connection to history. So giant thumbs up.
Good to give this a thumbs up. It's really cool, that it's coming to America and also coming somewhere that we could all go see it. And in fact, even as somebody who's not really, I've never been a Pokemon fan, I would still go see this. This is interesting to me. That said, it is going to be kind of sad to see, like, you know, like a dead Pikachu skeleton.
Oh.
A little sad. Tabitha.
I knew about this like 3 weeks ago because my godson is very into Pokemon and dinosaurs, and I had sent it to my best friend so she could share it with him. And the first words out of his mouth were, "Did you buy tickets yet?" And she had to explain that it wasn't here yet, but when it arrives, we will go see it. So we will go see this.
Tabitha, I feel like you are our reigning champion of last stories.
That's me.
Yes. So let's. What the hell is Heinz doing?
Oh no.
Oh God, who even knows? So they've launched a new campaign, only for Instagram and TikTok, and did like a targeted influencer run. So you can't buy this in stores. But a certain number of influencers in those countries, in Brazil actually, received in the mail a custom tooth grill designed to open their Heinz sauce packets. The post said, "Gone are the days of struggling with ketchup using your teeth. These stylish grills offer a unique and effective solution. They transform a mundane activity into a chic and functional dining experience, adding a touch of flair to your meal. They fit over one of your canine teeth, and you can get them in mustard yellow or ketchup red. And the mustard yellow one is inlaid with diamonds, and the ketchup one is inlaid with one ruby, and they're encased in gold. And they have like a tiny little stabby thing on the inside that allows you to rip your ketchup packet. Again, you cannot buy these in the store. This is a fun marketing campaign for them, I guess. I don't... You put it on, rip your ketchup packet open, and then take it off because you're inevitably going to bite through your freaking lip or a straw or...
Yeah, the
something. This is dangerous.
Which I would impale myself. Is
Do people really struggle that badly to open ketchup packets?
Exactly.
Apparently.
Well, no, you don't do it like that, stupid.
You're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
I would rather they brought back the colored ketchup from the late 90s, early 2000s than this.
Bring
Like
back
it
the
tasted
purple
like
ketchup.
crayons, but it looked cool.
Yeah,
Like-
no, just grills.
Like
And
I've
like, if you look real close at the red one for the ketchup, it's kind of shaped like the Heinz logo.
Oh, that's cute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Three
I would-
things.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Three things. Well, no, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'd also just be afraid that I'd swallow it.
That too.
Yeah.
That too. But yeah, so like first off, yeah, kind of what you said, Matt. Like, who is really struggling with this? Like, that's not a thing.
TikTok influencers.
Yeah. Yeah. Secondly, it's not a marketing campaign if you can't sell it.
Right.
Yeah. Also, that really doesn't even do anything because my teeth already turn ketchup red whenever I floss. So it was a bad joke because I don't floss all that well, and so then my gums bleed.
Oh, okay. I was like, what the hell are you talking? Why are you flossing with ketchup packets? You shouldn't be doing that. And I was about to be like,
Now
nope.
I am.
No wonder you go to the dentist so much. You're flossing with ketchup packets, you weirdo. So confused.
Welcome to my world. Always confused.
And there's your title for the episode.
Always confused. Or flossing with ketchup.
Yeah.
Ew.
One or the other.
Ew, can you imagine one of the water pick things filled with ketchup?
Oh, I can now.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
You
You're
can put like
welcome.
any condiment you want in it, though. You could do like mayonnaise, barbecue sauce, soy sauce.
It's going to get clogged so easily.
You have to water
maybe,
it down.
Maybe not with soy sauce, though.
Yeah.
I feel like dentists everywhere are going to hate us.
Oh, yeah.
Hashtag not sponsored by any dentist.
Well, 1 out of 10 dentists.
Oh,
Instead
yes,
of
that's
9
true.
out of
There you
10.
go.
Because
Yeah.
there's always one that doesn't recommend that toothbrush, so they're going to
Yeah.
recommend our water pick filled with condiments.
Yeah. 1 out of 10 dentists recommend this podcast. On that note, I need to go floss. So, I don't know. Everybody say bye.
Bye.
That's going to do it for this episode of The Geek Awakens. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, then shoot us an email at thegeekawakenspodcast@gmail.com.
It would be a shame if you didn't follow us on Facebook and Instagram at The Geek Awakens Podcast or on Blue Sky at The Geek Awakens.
Music provided and created by E. Cannon Beats.
Logo created and designed by Shay McCain.
That's it for this week. We're boldly gone.